Now available in paperback and e-readers, Isis, Samurai Goddess. The goddess next door takes on kung fu killers in this action-packed martial arts Isis series adventure. Get Isis, Samurai Goddess in paperback and e-readers today. A Chinese security guard from Las Vegas drove all the way to a Taiwanese Laguna Woods church and participated in a mass shooting that led to the death of one individual and the wounding of five others. Now, in this incident, your 68-year-old David Wenwai Chow is alleged to have drove all the way from Las Vegas to Laguna Woods to go to this church where Taiwanese Christians were having a service. And as they were taking a break for lunch, he allegedly chained up the doors of the area where they were congregating, put nails in some other doors to prevent people from escaping, and also put super glue in locks. And after going out here and chaining up these doors and nailing them shut and gluing the locks, he then went back to have lunch with the congregation, and then after the lunch ended, he then went out here and participated in this mass shooting, which led to the death of a Taiwanese doctor and who was trying to stop the mass shooting, and led to the injuries of five others. Now, the police are seeing this as an isolated incident, but when I take a critical examination of the behavior of 68-year-old David Wenwai Chow, it fits right in line with the pattern and profile for beta males that I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis. And one of the things that beta males do is they do not know how to process information. Now, your David Wenwai Chow was allegedly upset about the political tensions going on between China and Taiwan, and because he was upset about these political tensions in countries far away from America, he believed that he was justified to go to this church in Laguna Beach and murder these Taiwanese people who were just going to church. Now, this fits right in line with the beta male's whole need to have his smooth world, because the beta male feels entitled to have the world be the way he wants it to be, and because things are not fitting into his rose-colored reality, he believes he has a right to go and correct things to make them fit into his rose-colored reality. Now, this Chinese immigrant probably believed that if he went out here and took the lives of these Taiwanese churchgoers, he would be doing the state a favor. However, in reality, he wasn't doing anybody a favor. What he was looking to do was destroy the lives of others around him, because he was upset about the politics in a country thousands of miles away. But there are most of your beta males, this is the dysfunctional way they think. They believe that they need to go out here and do harm to others because they believe that their world view is being destroyed. So they believe they have a justification for going out here and participating in this violence. And that probably was the main motive for your David Wenwai Chow going all the way from Las Vegas to this Laguna Beach church, not to go out here and seek the gift of God, God's gift of salvation, but to bring his own gift of death to these people who he believed were enemies of a state. But what's really insane is that he was sitting here in the United States and had all the freedom to express himself, but did not think that he was could go that he and did not care about the rights of others. And that's what makes this is what makes beta males extremely backwards. Again, if something doesn't fit into their rose-colored reality, then they want to destroy the world around them, and they want to destroy that world because they want their world smooth, but that's not how the world works. And when it comes down to political situations in other countries, a person has to learn how to navigate through their emotions. Yes, you may have feelings about what's going on in another part of the world, but you do not have a right to go out here and act on those feelings if you believe that you want to take somebody's life, because that goes against every other person's right here in the United States to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And what this person was doing was violating everybody's rights because he was in his feelings about a political situation in a country that was beyond his control. But this is what beta males do whenever things are beyond their control. They act out in very violent ways, and they go out here and participate in extremes as related to the spectrum of violent behaviors without ever critically thinking about their actions or the consequences of their actions. Now, had this beta male been thinking critically, he would have asked the question, how would my actions be able to change things in China and Taiwan? But he didn't want to ask that question because he knew the answer, which was this would have no impact on the politics of China or Taiwan or the tensions between the two countries. It was all about, he didn't want to answer that question because he knew the answer to that question. However, he's going to have to deal with the consequences of his actions, and at 68 years old, he is going to now possibly be going to jail or prison for the rest of his life, all because he was in his feelings about some global politics. Now, what's really sad here is that an innocent doctor who was just going to look to serve the Most High and was looking to go out here and participate in church service and gather with other Taiwanese people in serving God, wound up losing his life trying to protect his fellow congregants as related to this beta male's whole plan for mass shooting. What's sad here is that this Taiwanese doctor wound up losing his life all because this beta male could not deal with his feelings, but he did, thank God, protect other people and acted like a hero, protecting those individuals, tackling the mass shooter, and stopping him from harming others outside of the 5 people who were wounded. And after these people then tackled this man, after he died trying to tackle this mass shooter, another individual hit him with a chair, and they were able to bring this beta male down and then tie him up with cords, thankfully stopping this mass shooter from doing harm to others. But most people really don't understand the damage that these beta males do. They want to talk about gun control issues when the big problem isn't gun control, because California has some of the strictest gun control laws, and this individual had a license to carry based on him being a security guard. And the real problem here wasn't the gun control. The real problem was that this beta male had no self-control, and this beta male was not raised to be able to do things like use critical thinking skills, use logic and reason, or go out here and learn how to navigate his emotions about political situations in other countries. Yes, politics can make people very emotional and very upset, but people have to learn how to work through their feelings about whatever politics they're seeing in media, and that's something many beta males like this David Wenwhite Cho allegedly just don't know how to do. Many of these individuals, whenever they get information regarding sensitive subjects like politics, sex, or religion, these individuals start to feel instead of think, and that's what makes these males extremely dangerous, is they start getting in their feelings about things, and then what's worse, they wind up acting on those feelings, and as they act on those feelings, they then put other people's lives in danger, because as they act impulsively to go out here and do harm to others who have nothing to do with what's going on in another country, because what's going on in China and Taiwan has nothing to do with what's life is here in America. People emigrated here because they were tired of the oppression of the communist government of China, and the Taiwanese moved here because they wanted other opportunities. But this beta male, he wanted to hurt people because he wanted his world smooth, and that is what makes these beta males extremely dangerous. And that's the big problem that most Americans don't want to deal with, the fact that we have a large population of these beta males here in America due to the dysfunctional way we have been raising boys to become men. And many of these males, because they do not have good male life skills, good male survival skills, or good social skills, these males do not know how to think. Again, think critically, use logic and reason, or conflict resolve, or work through their emotions regarding issues that they read about in the media. They don't know how to process things, so they act out like this, and sadly, this is the result of us not raising boys to become healthy men. And what's sad here is that this mass shooting came right after the mass shooting in Buffalo, sadly proving my point about how the man crisis is getting worse in this country, because we are now not only seeing more mass shootings, we are seeing an increase in the frequency of these mass shootings, because over the course of the weekend we have had these two mass shootings, and we had two more shootings where multiple people wound up getting shot all across the country. And I believe that the reason why we're seeing this increase in frequency of the mass shootings is because many of these ticking time bombs had their fuses cut short due to the COVID lockdowns. And as a result of the COVID lockdowns, we are seeing the sickness of the man crisis get worse, because we're seeing these males who were time bombs becoming landmines, and that is making it very hard for most Americans to get around, because instead of us being able to walk confidently about being safe in any environment we're in, we're walking on eggshells, living in fear, because we've got these 2 to 3 generations of millions of beta males around, and these millions of beta males make it where you're practically scared to death to go walk basically to the store, go out here and go to church, or do any of your basic activities, because these males were never raised on how to deal with life, deal with reality, deal with life in the real world, and learn the coping skills on how to navigate a course in life. And that's what makes this man crisis, as it gets even worse, more frustrating to deal with. You don't know where to go to get away from these beta males, because they're practically everywhere, and if they can't get their way about something in life, their whole solution is to go out here and get a weapon and do harm to others rather than deal with their feelings. And that's one of the worst parts about America's ongoing man crisis, is many of these males, again, they just show us how badly they have turned out. And sadly, we've got even more of these males out here due to the dysfunctional way we have been raising males, and the fact that we have not acknowledged in our government we have a problem with the way we have been raising boys to become men, because these kinder, gentler, softer males, they have now become landmines, and these softer males, all you have to do is squish them a little, and then they wind up blowing up everything around them, and blowing up everything and doing so much damage, because they just don't know how to deal with life with people who are different from them, have different opinions than they do, and that's what makes it really tense to be around things. And the whole thing is, this man crisis, again, is getting completely worse and not better, and it's going to get worse because, again, America refuses to acknowledge we have a man crisis in this country, and the way we are raising boys to become men is making monsters all across this country. And until we start really getting serious about acknowledging the man crisis acknowledging the way we raise boys as making dysfunctional males who go out here and become men in crisis, and hold those who are accountable for creating this crisis accountable. We're not going to change anything because we need to really acknowledge that over the last 50 years, we have failed to raise healthy, productive boys to become men, and that's why we've got this bumper crop of mass shooters basically reaping tares across the country, and these tares are terrorizing people all across the country. And if we want to really get serious about stopping this violence, we've got to stop talking about gun control and start talking about America's man crisis. Now, if you want to learn more about what motivates these beta males to participate in these acts of violence like this one I just talked about, you can pick up my book, The Man Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find The Man Crisis on Smashwords, the iBook Store, and Google Play. And if you want to see me do more men's issues videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Now available in paperback and e-readers, E-Steam Horror of the Hyena Woman. Hell's aspiring angel takes on a wicked werewolf in this action-packed all-new E-Steam series adventure. Get E-Steam Horror of the Hyena Woman in paperback and e-readers today. Now available in paperback and e-readers, ISIS Legacy. Sorority secrets of the goddess next door are revealed in this all-new ISIS series adventure. Get ISIS Legacy in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere.